brother?
Oh, but all right.
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Shit, I got my volume on. There it is.
Nice. What's the story?
Not a whole lot, but tipping away, training, usual.
Yeah.
Back now. Flat out, so hard long days are back.
Good to see you back moving, mate.
Good to be moving. Good to be out of the gym.
Jeez, it's the last place you need to spend time in.
It's been a while. How are you getting on?
Yeah, all good, bro. Just tipping away. You know yourself. It's like you sort of think you're training for something and you're not. But we're lucky because Dylan and I are in the house together. So,
okay. Good crack.
So Dylan, yeah, good crack. But I got a good gym set up too. So Dylan and I have been flat out and been on a high
listening
perch.
to his chat the whole time, but I'm sure
it's better than it's actually better than I thought.
How are you getting on otherwise? Were you saying was in even Belvo? You're back in Belvo?
Yeah, back in. I'm in there like 3 days a week at the moment, and then still working from home the other 2 days. So it's sound nice. Got a few people popped on, which is good. We'll get started in a couple of minutes, but I'll just wait for these guys to jump on.
I don't have to. I'm in no rush. Stuck in anyway, doing nothing. Playing PlayStation. You got me off the PlayStation for a bit. I needed a break.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing, eh?
Yeah. Need a little break from it. It's getting too many wins. Yeah. That's my problem. Too many wins.
It's addictive.
Give anyone else a chance. Oh man, it's too much fun.
Yeah,
Still a big kid.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Nice. Did you get my email?
Yeah. I got it. I was just kind of giving a quick glance.
Yeah. No, sweet. No,
I don't mind. You got anything like I'm pretty chilled.
Yeah, nice. All good. Right. Hang on a second. I'll just hang fire for one more, a couple more coming in. And I have to get my Q&As up. All good. Thanks. What's it?
When are you back? Training?
No idea.
I've seen the protocol. I don't really understand it.
Nah, wait till April 5th and see what happens. Where I doubt we'll be back. Maybe some non-contact pods. So a bit of tip, Yeah. A few skills.
The real reason we all play rugby, isn't it?
Yeah, man. That's me. Catch pass all day.
Yeah.
Right. Sweet, man. I reckon we'll get underway. We've got a few on here and it's a recording, so that's all good. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for jumping on. We've got a few attendees. Great to see a few people jump on here. My name is Valentine and I'm hosting just a wee chat each week with a couple of, I guess, our Clontarf lads in the professional ranks. So today we're very, very lucky to have Vakh on. It's been a while since I've seen him down there at the ball ring, but he often frequents the under-20s trainings to help them out. And then when he does put a shirt on, I have seen him score some amazing tries from long range, 40 meters plus. So it's awesome to have you on, Vakh. Jumping on.
Cheers, bro. Cheers. Thanks for having me.
No worries, man. I guess we'll rip right into it. I've got a few questions, stuff about our background, but just for those of you who are attending, the way this works is I've got a few questions that I'm going to ask Vakh just about life and about rugby, about the lessons he's learned. But you'll see there's a Q&A box down in the corner. If you wiggle your screen or you wiggle your mouse, that's where you guys just type your questions in, and I'll work those questions into a conversation with Vakh today. Again, really, really stoked to have him on. Last week we had a really good chat with Davey Hawkshaw, Beast, the Hawk. The Hawk brother.
Yeah.
And it worked really well. So guys, feel free to ask any questions you want for the big man himself. But I guess just a little bit about yourself to start with, Vakh. You can start real basic for some of you, because there'll be people on here that may have seen your name in a few team sheets and may not have. So tell us your position, tell us your favourite food, and the current game.
A list of favourites.
Yeah, you can go for it. And the current game that you're smashing on the PlayStation at the minute.
Well, My name is Vakh Abdaladze. I'm from Georgia originally, born. I'm playing prop at the moment. Playing prop for Leinster. Not at the moment. I think that's a pretty solidified position for me. But yeah, it's, pretty chill. Playing PlayStation a bit. Call of Duty, Warzone, the usual crack. Nothing crazy. Yeah, that's pretty much me. Play rugby and play Call of Duty. That's my life at the moment.
You got any? What's your list of favorite foods? Here? Give us the
Favorite
top three.
foods for the healthy people. Casual chicken pasta, maybe a bit of cheese. Not too crazy. You have to go pizzas, burgers, you name it.
It's
only on the weekends though.
Oh man, this is an awesome advertisement to our youth club.
Yeah.
Guys, anyone in the age of under 13s to 18s, if you want to be a professional rugby player like Vakh,
No,
a lot of pizza and burgers.
I've been injured for a while, so I've treated myself every now and again. I earn my treats though. You have to put the work in to earn your treats. You can't just call up delivery every night. You have to earn it before you can kind of spoil yourself.
Yeah, nice. Do the money, get the treats, brother.
Exactly.
So like I said, some people have just jumped on. Please, guys, make sure you chuck some questions into the Q&A box there, and we'll do our best to answer them. So Vakh, you just touched on being from Georgia originally. Tell us how that worked out and how did you end up in the lovely city of Dublin, mate?
Yeah, the sunny Dublin.
Sunny Dublin, all right.
Anyway, I'll tell you that much. I think we were 5. My family moved over here. My parents, obviously, Georgia not as developed as Ireland yet. Anyway, they looked for opportunities over here and whatnot, and we kind of came over here, started, and then that's how I kind of got into it. School English, actually, weirdly, I was actually all right English, so it was kind of handy getting integrated with everyone and start playing sports. Like sports was how I clicked with everyone. Trying to play all types of sports. Like, I that kid that like plays sports for 2 or 3 months. Like I've done judo, I've done swimming. Like not a good swimmer, like, but I've done it for a couple of months. And then Gaelic, rugby, and that's pretty much me. Like.
Nice. And if you were going to pick one of those sports that isn't rugby that you would crack at, what would it be?
Football. Football's like my first love as a sport, especially kid growing up. Like I always played on the streets. Like I know I've watched some home videos. Like just like Georgia's way hotter than it is in Ireland. So like when you're a kid, sometimes you're even playing barefoot. And but yeah, football was my first love. Even coming here, I didn't play rugby till I was like I think 11ish. Mainly because didn't really have an understanding of how Ireland worked. So, and then football clubs are in every housing estate pretty much. So I just joined up with the local one. So I'm at primary school and I always played football, and still, even to this day, well, I don't get to anymore, but before getting into professionally, 5-a-side, you just can't go wrong.
I didn't know that about you, but now that you're saying that, I can actually see where some of your twinkle toes come from.
There you go, yeah.
And like on that, do you reckon like football or soccer or whatever you want to call it, because that would have been my first winter sport as well. Do you think it helped you like develop your game? And when you started playing rugby, was there any skills that you sort of brought over from football?
I wouldn't say that I thought back on and noticed, but like playing different sports, you just, especially team sports, you just kind of build relationships, and like just being a team player, it just helps, and you get to know more people. It's like easy going. To be fair, my dad had me taking football quite seriously. He was the tough dad that kind of brings me out for training after school for an hour or two. You when like all my mates would be shooting and I was hanging about. I was down beside like my primary school. There used to be literally a field, but had 2 goalposts in it, and that's where we go down and like practice both feet passing and like crossing. I practice so much football, but like I don't know if it directly translates to rugby. Definitely, I gained a few pounds since my footballing days, so I wouldn't think it was the fitness anyway. but I'm sure like just the things you don't see, like getting on with everyone in team environments and stuff like that, definitely carried over.
Yeah, nice. And it even sounds like they're like a bit of your work rate and like the training, sort of the appetite for training, should I say, is sort of started back there. And I guess the old man probably laid that down, did he?
Yeah, that's something he kind of ingrained for me from pretty much as a kid. Like it's a very old school method. You don't get it these days now. If like I kind of see it when I like train some schools, like that appetite for work ethic and stuff. Like you need to have it, and like it comes with being shown like a bit of tough love when you're a kid, and like getting the extra kick of the arse to kind of do the work. That builds that. Like I know with my own like little brother, sometimes he gets spoiled way more because he's the younger one, so he doesn't get treated like I did, like where I was made to go and train, and I hated it then, but like I definitely don't regret doing any of it now.
Yeah, because I'd say like it's one thing I really admire about the kids at the club, especially. Like I'll go down, I live pretty close to the grounds, and I'll be walking past or going down doing my own training, and they're always down there training, working away, and just like I don't think you can. Yeah, I think you underestimate how important that stuff is. Like when you get to our age, anyway, you look back and you're like, man, it's so important to be out there every day, kicking the ball around, knowing your limitations, knowing what you can do. Your abilities, and then it gives you confidence, I guess, when you are playing. You're like, no, I've done this for years.
Years and years. It's just like I know a lot of people talk about the 10. This could be a little bit more complex, but the 10,000 hour rule. Like, just do something over and over again. That's how you build your habits. Like, so when you do go out and like train around, like if you have a play with purpose, even if it's fun, like you don't realize it, but doing it over and over again, you ingrain that in what you do. So if you're out like playing with your mates, playing 2v1s or like sidestepping each other, like it'll eventually become ingrained and you kind of second nature almost.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's epic. Sorry, one thing I heard you say, you mentioned there that I want to touch on, but at judo, they reckon. I heard the rumor has it that you grew up wrestling brown bears. Is that true? Is that an Ivan Soroka special?
I can't confirm or deny that. No, Ivan wouldn't wrestle the bear. He's too soft for that. Let's be honest. No, I did judo. I did actually judo here. We just found the local sports complex that was doing had judo classes, but I was quite a big kid for my age. So when we did competitions, there wasn't really there was no one at like my weight class almost. So after a couple of months, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I was doing the training and like you underestimate the lighter fellas, but like they have the speed, and at the end of the day, speed definitely beats heavyweight.
Held 9-year-old Vakh having to wrestle like 16-year-old dudes.
Yeah, it was enjoyable.
that's pretty gnarly. Sorry, and you said prop. Do you prefer tight head or loose head?
No, I do for tight head. I was kind of messing around playing a bit of both at age grade and finding my feet, but now I've been at tight head since I've gone professional in Leinster, so I'm quite happy with where I've gone and how it's going. Like the one thing with being a prop is like you can never perfect it in a way. Like it's like you get better with age because it's such a thing about feeling and understanding, and exactly like similar to the 10,000, it's just doing it over and over again, and that's how you learn. It's not just a case of like you're good at kicking and you just kick it every time the same way kind of thing.
Did you? And can you expand on that? Like why you would prefer tight head over loose? Is there something about it, or do you like the closeness of the scrummaging, or I don't know what is it?
I don't know. Like it's not that. I just think I'm more comfortable. Like it's the feel thing. I just getting into scrum. Like I'm not completely turning away from the loose head side of things, but I've developed into tight head, so that's kind of my side. I'm comfortable there. So it's not necessarily a preference, but it's where it's my comfort zone at the moment anyway.
Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. There's another look. Just wanted to ask a few covering questions. It's good. We've got a question that's come in here, a bit of a fun question here. What's your favorite show on Netflix?
Netflix, Money Heist. It's a
Money
Spanish news show.
Heist.
I don't know if anyone's watched it.
Oh,
Watch it with subtitles. It's actually it is what my favorite show. I've finished it twice, I think. So there you go.
oh, really? I
Yeah,
thought you. Wait, can you? Are you watching it with subtitles? As you say,
yeah.
can you speak Spanish? Is that
No,
another
I
one
can't
of your
speak Spanish
tricks?
whatsoever. I watch it with subtitles, but it's actually when I got injured 4 years ago,
Yeah,
and I had my back injury as well then, and so I was like I had to stay in bed. I wasn't allowed to
yeah.
even get up for food and stuff. So like I finished everything on Netflix, and I was like flicking through whatever's on, and Money Heist, the title. I was like, all right, we'll give it a shot. I didn't think anything of it, but then I got really into it. It was actually very good, so I'd highly recommend watching it.
Nice, nice. That's all good. All right, we'll wind back, bro. And I know we've gone. I've shot forward. We talked about your position stuff.
Yeah.
Talking about a bit of the sport that you've covered off. Just want to go back. Like, how did you? Your man moved from Georgia. He's used to playing barefoot soccer or football in the streets. He moves over to Ireland. How do you end up on a rugby field?
It was one of my friends from on my football team. He was playing both sports, like as you do as a kid, you play as much as you can. And he was talking to my dad, and my dad actually played for Georgia at one stage.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, so he played a bit of rugby himself, and kind of from there, when he heard there was like you could actually play rugby here, and like there's a club system near us, he kind of got me into there, and that's how it started. Just rocked up, and
Yeah, nice.
out of history.
So, and how old were you? Did you say you were 11 when you
Yeah,
first started?
I think it was around 10, 11. I know it's like
Nice.
at the start, I definitely prioritized football as well because I remember I took like I played for a year or two, and then I just stopped for a year and went back kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't want to dwell on the club that you started playing with, because this is our second week. We've actually had a mini or a youth player
Yeah.
from another club, but obviously they did a really good job out at Cornwall, and you enjoyed your rugby there. How did you find the system? Because you went through, like, you're obviously playing professional now. We had some really good questions last week.
Yeah.
And like, because obviously Davey went through Coolmine as a club
Yeah.
growing up, and then he went off to Belvedere and was able to get exposure that way. You went a really different route through the club system. So can you talk to us about that? Like, first of all, just talk to us about your time at Coolmine, what you enjoyed about it, and then the support from there in terms of how did you get into the system? How do you get noticed? Probably because you're such a big unit, but like, how else do you get noticed?
I got noticed as a 12 originally, so that's a nice fun fact for you.
Sorry, say that again.
I started as 12. Actually, I'll go back. I'll go to it when I come through it.
Yeah, okay. Carry on.
Well, Kumai versus like the coaches were fantastic. Like I'm still quite friendly with a lot of them, and like if ever I'm down there, like my brother still plays there, so I definitely have a catch up and stuff with everyone in the club. Like they've been quite good to me in terms of like providing a facility, even like during the off season. Like it's 5 minutes from my house, so I know they let me use the facility, the gym and the Astro and stuff to do my bits when I need to during the off season. So they've been more than helpful even to this day. So quite happy. Like Kumai as a club, I couldn't say enough about them. Like growing up, still plenty of mates from my minis and youth. Had some great tours to Bayonne, even to Limerick. So yeah, the usual
The
rugby
big
tours,
smoke,
like,
the big smoke.
yeah. So I can't like. I would be going on for a while if I had to. And like they've, in terms of not even just from me, but like supporting my background, like my dad actually ended up getting an under 15s team and an under 17s team over to Georgia for a tour, and
Real.
they did like a week tour and a 2 week tour, and the kids loved it. Like when are you gonna get a chance? When are you, like, realistically he was gonna pick up a bag and be like, I'm going to Georgia holidays, but the kids loved it. And like I know a load of parents went along and they were big fans of it, especially the wine and the food, like different. So it's been massive help with my dad in terms of doing that sort of bits. And unfortunately, because of COVID, there was supposed to be a Georgian team flying over, and the club did a lot of fundraisers to support it because they wouldn't financially be able to kind of afford the trip. So the club did like massive fundraisers, and they were about to come over, just before we went into lockdown and stuff. So that was a bit of a bummer. So like from a club, from like coaches to making friends to being like a support system on and off the field, that being massive to me. So I have to thank you for that. And then the way kind of developed from there was the trial system. If lads are in the school, they know coming up would be like the regional trials.
Yep.
And I actually started, as I said, with centre. So I got my trials at centre. I did my regional playing through the youth system at 12. I had Clontarf Rugby at 10, so not too bad, man. He was playing a year up, like he was always top-notch player, complete baller.
It would have been huge for his own year. He would have been huge for his own year because he's not small.
Oh, they probably got him big now. Like he would have been tall, but I wouldn't say he has any meat on his bones. Like he's quite a scrawny kid, but like he was a baller. Like so, he was another kid who was like unbelievable at sports. All sports he played, from golf to from golf to football. Like anything he touches, he can play ball. Like so he did that. Played at 12 for the Metro. So the way the system works is you kind of get picked at under 16s for that Metro region, and then you go into like your center of excellences for your under 17s and kind of that Leinster youth phase.
Yeah.
And you get into under 18s Leinster youths and 19s. So actually I got dropped from after my year center. I got let go, but then I got brought back on because I moved to the back row, and then kind of put on some size and stuff as a kid. Started going gym, like nothing crazy, but just working out daily, whether it be like push-ups, pull-ups, not crazy weights. Like I wouldn't recommend any kid going mad into weights straight from the get-go. So did that, and then when I got brought back in, they brought me in as a proctor. Like this is where we see your kind of pathway, and I started at loose head. Played loose head under 18.
How old were you when this happened?
I would have played the Metro when I was like under 16s, and then I got brought back on during like halfway through my under 17s with Kilmine. So I was playing Kilmine during that time. So like if that is for like any kid for their next year or two, like if they get that chance to play Metro and they do get let go, like just to know they watch every games. Like it's not a case of like you're let go and that's you off to the side, like you're never kind of scouted again. So as disheartening as it was at the time, like I just played rugby and they thought I was playing really well and they see potential. So that's when they brought me back into the under 17 setup, and then progressed from then on from loose head, and then eventually here I am tight head.
And so that's quite interesting, because like you said, you you started in the backs, and then like for whatever reason they were like, oh look, it's not really where we see you going. And so making a transition to like prop's quite a specialist position. To learn it and start learning it at 16 is quite late, like most people would think. But you obviously picked it up fast enough and just stayed in the system, just keep working at it.
That's like that's how you kind of say it like that. I probably overlooked it, how difficult it was, but like, it's just, I think just the work ethic helped me a lot. Like my parents supported me the whole time, so when they had the chat and they were like, look, they want you to move pro, okay, well, like my dad trained me like this or that, like gosh, any friends he knew, like what kind of specialist training to do. And when you're in the system, like I think, I don't know what the hell it is now, but we had like once a week we would meet in Centre of Excellence, as they call it. And we would be there. Like for me, it was like we were up in Ashburn every Monday night. So that's when you're working on your skills and stuff. So that was quite helpful. Like the coaches that you get through the Leinster program, even from under 15, the Metro regions to the youth system, like they're fantastic in terms of like, if you need something to work on, they'll happily do it.
Yeah. No, that's good. And I think it's reassuring. It's nice to hear from you, because there are some players, there's heaps of players in our club, in the youth club, that might be at, local school. They might be at Paul's Raheny or Mount Temple, and they're not necessarily known for being big rugby schools, but they've stuck with the rugby at the club. And I think you did right. Like, I think Leinster are doing a way better job now. They're doing a really good job now. Might not have always been the case, but they're doing a really good job of making sure that clubs players get seen, and then they got exposure as well. And I think you did right about the Monday night training sessions. For you, it's like, we're getting consistent coaching at that level. But I think one of the good things about it is that they're constantly seeing you. They're seeing you every week, and they're seeing you grow and develop. So if you do, like you say, if you get the chance to be involved in one of those things, I think from here you might have to go to Donnybrook, and it might feel like a bit of a hike from here to Donnybrook, but it's definitely worth it. Even just hearing your story.
100%. But like, it's the thing. It's not like, you have to remember, it's not just you just turn up for Monday, do your little skill bits, and leave it off for the week. Like, there's like definitely any drills like you pick up, especially like, it almost would seem easier now with lockdown being like a lot more free time almost. For some kids, just to go and like practice your skills. So any like drills you do get or advice you do get, don't like do it that day and just leave it off for the week if any of the lads end up in the system. Like, practice it another day, like third day, like just keep repeating, and that's how you get better. It's not a case of, okay, he told me, I was told to do this, I did this that day, and then, all right, I'll see him next week, I forget about it.
Yeah, and I think you're right. Even from a coach's perspective, when I'm coaching, like, and you have guys who show up and they'll train, and they think that they've done it once, they must have it, and you're like, no, you're doing this training here, but I want you to do work at that. So when we do it next week, you've nailed it, and we can build on that skill. It's not just a matter of doing it once and it's done.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I think even myself as a kid, you overlook the basics almost. You want to be doing the flashy stuff, and like, it's almost, you want to run before you can walk. And like, you see lads who are, like, have played lines tests still in the gym, practicing passing. When they're like, we're coming in the gym and like just before pitch session, practicing passing, or like practicing the tackle technique and stuff like that. So like, it might not be something that like we put time towards in like a training session. That's because you're expected to work on that on your own outside of the training, and that's your self-improvement kind of block.
Yeah. That's a great piece of advice, man. And similar to what we covered last week with Davey, it was like, for him, he was like, it's just basics. You cannot emphasize how important it is to do the basics well. And then, like, my own background back home, like, one of the differences I think between the Irish setup and the New Zealand setup in terms of clubs is that, like, because rugby is our gar, we do the basics all the time because we've always got a ball. Like, you never, we you don't see a kid walking around with a hurl or a game of football. It's always a rugby ball, whether you play, tiddlywinks cricket or soccer. It doesn't matter what sport you play. Everyone knows how to pass the ball. So just keep working those basics. It's a great thing to point out there, and especially when you're a prop forward throwing long balls like yourself. Yeah, good skill to have.
That's what the game's becoming. Like, even today, you seen Tig with his sidestep. Like, you see ports around the park. It's not like the old, like, you need to be able, like, once, essentially the way it's put, like, once the ball is out the scrum or is not in a line out, every player from 1 to 15 needs to have a basic skill set that can kind of top notch, and you're not lacking, because we all played the same game at the end of the day. Like, we all have different roles and specialized positions, but once the few phases, but then when the ball is free, like, it's 1 to 15, everyone's playing the same game.
Yeah, that's right. And I think for me, Jeremy Loughnan last year for Munster, they went this out the back ball, and he just threw this absolute pearl of it was a 30-meter long ball, and I was just like, yeah, that's how the game's going. Like, doesn't matter what number's on your back. If the ball needs to get to the edge, we just throw it.
Exactly.
Whoever's got it, just get it. So that's it's class. Hey, I'd like before, and we are bouncing around a little bit, but one of the questions here is just asking about, did you like school? That's a great question to ask. How was school for you? And then, obviously you weren't in a rugby school as such, but like, Did you enjoy it, and what do you any importance on it?
Now I look back at like I had a lot of fun in school, and it's the most free you're ever going to be when you're out in school. So really enjoy it going in. Like when you're in there, you're kind of like, oh, after going into school, this, that, and the other. But like from an education perspective, my parents, again, as much as my dad had the work ethic with me training, my mum had the same work ethic towards education in terms of studying and stuff. So I don't know if it's a Eastern European thing, but they both pushed me hard when it came to training and school. School, like I say to my little brother the whole time, just to like enjoy it. I know like he's in his leaving cert year, which I think the lads won't be, but they will be reaching soon. But it's don't let it stress you out. Like do the work early as well. If there is work, like homework and stuff, do the work early and leave yourself free time. Going into school is like a social event if you think about it. Like you get to chit chat with all your friends and stuff. And when you're finishing up in school as well, like there's so many pathways in Ireland. Like I think Ireland is one of the countries where just because you didn't do well in school doesn't mean that you're not going to succeed after school, and you're not going to just be at home 24/7. Like there's so many pathways that you could take to like get jobs and study and whatnot. So like not to also stress yourself out, because I remember we had like a couple of lads who we had a great like under 17s team, like we almost 2 teams playing, and then it came to under 18s or like the junior cert year, and lads would just drop off, and like you're like, oh no, I have to concentrate on my study, and I'm like, are you genuinely studying or like procrastinating? But like it's an hour, 2 hours twice a week potentially, like clubs training. You need that social part of your life as well to have a bit of freedom and keep your mind refreshed. So when you are studying in school, so that's like I did enjoy school and I had a lot of fun. And playing sports in school helps massively.
Yeah. No, and I'm with you, man. Like I say it to the boys that I work with at Belvoir. I was like, mate, this is the best time of your life. Trust me. And so make the most of it. Someone's asking here, funny question. I'm enjoying some of the questions that are coming in. And if you are watching, just remember you can type any of your questions into the Q&A box, and I'll get to them eventually. Someone's asking here, what subjects did you pick for leaving?
I see. That was.
Can't even remember. That's how.
This was my issue. My brother got it easy because my parents understood the school system. Whereas for me, like it is an Eastern European thing where it's like you either become a doctor, a lawyer, or a politician, or a businessman. So I was like, I'm not going to be a doctor. There's no chance I'm a doctor. I do want to be. I took the businessman route because I was like, all right, it sounds like I could do sports and be. So I had I picked accounting, economics, and business, the triple threat. And maybe that wasn't the one fun thing I didn't have in school. I haven't done 3 of them. If I had it my way, I would have chose something a bit more practical, a bit more hands-on. I enjoy being like DIY and crafty. So yeah.
So like cooking.
I got not being pressure, but my parents pressured me into the business side of things.
It's not the worst. It's not the worst.
Yeah, it is that Eastern European thing that like it's crazy. Even when I go back home and see like my cousins and stuff, and like when they're studying and how like I'm like relaxed kind of thing. It's like that's the opportunities like my parents had grown up. It's like you're either going to be one of those 4 things, and that's where you have success in the country, but it's different here. Like I remember I was telling my mom I wanted to do sports management in college, and she was looking at me like, what are you going to do in sport with a sports management degree? You're like, a sports science degree. And I was like, I can do plenty of things. And she just didn't get it. But I was the trial run, and my brother has it a bit easier than I did anyway.
So he's got to do a sports management degree.
Yeah, exactly. He's in sports science. He's doing whatever he wants, really.
No, that's good. It's good. And I think one of the points I really enjoyed that you were talking about there, there is definitely, like, don't get me wrong, leaving cert is important, and your studies are very, very important. big time. That's why we go to school. But like the balance there and trying to get that balance right. And like you say, if you actually work hard when you're doing it, right, you actually have the time to balance there, and people do freak out. And there's plenty of articles and research out there that shows that scheduled training and games, that social element is actually beneficial to you in the classroom, because it does clear your head, it gives you an outlet. So it is important to keep playing the sport as long as you can, and keep up the study as well. I don't want any parents writing in and be like, Val and Vakh told our kids that they could do whatever.
Skill, like, they're not.
Yeah, facts. Another question in here. It's a good question. Someone's asking if Georgia should play Italy for a spot in the Six Nations.
Yeah, like that debate will be going on until they do something about it. Like, like, I do watch the Georgia games and I do support them. So like, it's maybe not for like a spot, or like they could definitely get included. Like, because you want, like, if you look at football, you have so many teams competing. When you look at the Football World Cup, you have so many teams competing at such a high level, and that's what creates such a great tournament. So like, the more teams you can create at the same level, and the better the competition, it'll create for better viewing, better entertainment, better tournaments for everyone. So like, if it's a case of getting Georgia into the, like, a Seven Nations or whatever, I'm sure it should be done. Like, because like they dominate the second group they have, like the Europe Chand or however they call it. Like, and they are a dominant force in rugby, and year on year they're progressing. So like, playing top 3 teams every year is only going to be better for them. Like, you know.
Yeah, and almost like someone's asking there around like the potential of having like a relegation system or something like that. Well, I think it could be good, like you say. You can only get better when you play the best as well.
Exactly, yeah. But I think the thing with the relegation system is then, like, you'll lose Italy and they'll have to play at a lower standard. So they'll do what Georgia will be doing now, you know?
Yeah.
So you want as many teams at the best level and competing constantly, because that will, in what I think, will create like the best tournaments.
Yeah.
So that would be my view on that. Like, if you can have more teams in it, potentially, but then obviously you have to look at, there's a lot more than just, all right, putting your team into the 7-8. There's a lot more that goes on with then clubs and European cups and whatnot. So, but yeah.
It's not the Six Nations Final Fantasy where you pick your team and you're like, put them in.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not that simple.
Thinking, like I said, again, I'm not even going to apologize for bouncing around, because it's all good.
That's kind of chat. It's nice.
One of the things I like asking, and I asked Davey this last week, is like, can you remember this like specific moment or the instance where you were like, man, I reckon I've got a shot at like cracking it professionally, or this is something I want to do for a job? And Davey was telling us there last week, he was TY about to kick off, or he's warming up for the semi-final of the Senior Cup, and the coach at the time, Phil, walks up to him and says, "Hey, Dave, you got picked for the Irish under-18s," and he goes, "Oh, really?" And he was kind of like a bit clueless. I laugh now because you're like, "Come on, Dave, you should have known."
Yeah.
And he said that, like, it was that moment. He was like, I'm out here having fun with my mates, and I'm like, I'm still, I get making these teams. It's like, I could probably do this. And I don't know, what was it for you? Like, can you remember a moment where you were like, yeah, I want to be a professional player, or I think I've got the goods to make it into the setup?
Yeah, I think a big influence from that part was always my dad. He was massive in terms of always kind of believing and pushing to compete for becoming a professional. And he never really let me settle to not reach it in a way. Even like when I was kind of let go at my under 20s year, and then he always like kept working on it. He's like, he kept pushing the idea of like that I would make pro, and like just keep training, keep at it, and he always saw that in me. So for me, I was a bit shy in that terms of having that confidence in myself that I would go pro. I was a bit more shy, and I was like, I'll just keep playing and I'll just keep tipping away, and if I make it, I make it, kind of thing. Like I was always setting myself up to like getting a college degree and stuff, and having that safety net, because I was always worried that, oh, maybe I might not make it. But my parents were probably the biggest in terms of giving me that belief and confidence that, okay, you have talent, or like you have the work ethic, and that I would make pro eventually. And I think and it would have clicked once when I got first let go from the regionals, like when I was 12. Okay, I might have not been the best 12, but that's when they started pushing that, and that's when it clicked for me that, okay, yeah, I do want to go pro. And almost that like disappointment like just built up more resilience for future. So when I was kind of first let go is when I really wanted to turn the screw on and become a pro.
Nice. Yeah, and that's a great lesson again for not just for the players list, but for all of us. I think we constantly remind ourselves that like the lessons that you learn from a loss, and like they often talk about is like, mate, you learn more from what you from losing than you do from winning. But also you learn heat from disappointment. Like you say, you got dropped from because you were playing 12 or whatever it was at 16, and then somehow you decided, right, I'm going to go give this a crack. And I know there'll be people here that like experience that disappointment, whether it's at a club level or they don't make the metros, and sorry, I heard you said there you got it there, and then you got dropped again at under 20s level. Is that right?
Dropped.
So you got a double dose of it.
Yeah, I got dropped. I got let go at the under 20s, like halfway through my under 20s year. So after around Christmas, I got let go again, and then we won the AIL with Clontarf, and then I got brought to the 20s World Cup that year, and then from then on, I've stayed in this far. So
yeah, so talk us through that, man, because that's really a bit of a mad one. Like, so how did you end up at Clontarf, and what grades did you play? Did you go straight to the senior setup, or did you work through the 20s, or were you an Andy Wood scalp at under 19s? Were you?
It was my under 20s year, or sorry, under 19s year that Woody got onto me, and that's when I made the move from Coolmine over to Clontarf. I played 1 year. I played a year 20s, and I was kind of like I played the preseason again. So I did my under 20s interpros, and then around September I was kind of playing some under 20s game and some senior games. I actually got injured in the warm up. I was going to play my first senior game against Corkon at home, I believe.
Oh, big game.
I could be. Was it? Yeah, if I remember correctly, Corkon at home. I did my ankle in the warm up. So
you just roll it.
Yeah, I just rolled it. I just rolled it bad. Like I couldn't put any pressure on it, and I was injured from that. So that put me out for 12 weeks, was it? So along those lines, and then that's when I got when I was coming back from injury. That's when I wasn't playing any games, and like the thing is, you learn at underage is like just constantly competition for spots. Like so, you always got to stay top of your game. Even now, like I'm 25 and I feel old because there's constantly lads coming through the system, like biting at your heels that they want to take your spot. So unfortunately, someone's injury or whatever is another person's opportunity. So that was when I was kind of after that. But then I stayed with Tarf, came back from injury, and just played with Tarf, and won the AIL that year. And then I got back into the setup again. And here I am now.
So one day AIL, and then you see you brushed on it, and some people may have read it in the email that went out. So you made the Irish 20 on the AIL, basically that campaign, and a bit of exposure. How was that? Tell us about how you found out you made the team, and then talk us through the excitement and the elation that followed.
It was a bit of a surprise as well, because I wasn't involved with any of the camps and that leading up to it. So I was just playing I was in, I think, second year of college by that stage. So I was just, once I got let go as well, I didn't have the 6 a.m. wake up calls for the gym sessions before
gyms,
college.
yeah.
So I was being a good student as a student should be, and I was just playing rugby in Clontarf. Like I was enjoying playing rugby. Like the campaign was unbelievable with the lads. Like some memorable wins and some memorable bus trips that won't be forgotten and won't be told either. So like club rugby is like some of the best times I've had like playing rugby. And then so we finished our season, but I got into the gym quite a bit. Like I was going to the gym quite a bit in terms of I was enjoying the gym and I was always going with my friends. And then after we won the AL, like we obviously celebrated a good bit. Then I just started going back to the gym like after college. And I told the story. I did like my mates were like mad into the gym, so we did some mad leg session. Like I couldn't walk for like a couple of days, and I got a call to like roll into camp on the Thursday, and I was like, I am not doing it. I was like, I can't do it.
I can't walk.
Yeah, I was like, this is out of the blue. I was like, I'm not ready for this. But yeah, I got called into camp again. A couple of tight heads that were in the squad at the time got injured, and that was my opportunity then to get called into there. So got my opportunity, got called in, went to the Under-20s World Cup and just played a couple of games, played a few games. Like I wasn't, like I was excited about it, but at the same time I knew not to make it. I kind of learned my lesson from being let go previously that it's not the be and end all, but just to like enjoy the team environment, enjoy the rugby, and not to put too much pressure on myself. And I think it was Peter Smith at the time, the Leinster academy coach in Leinster, saw what potential in me and gave me another shot and called me into the academy like after the Under-20s World Cup, and I did it, and that was it. Staying in there at the moment.
Yeah, that's nice to hear as well. I heard a couple of things there where you're telling us that story. Like first of all, it's almost like you've been dropped and you're like, right, I'm out, but I'm just going to keep doing what I'm enjoying. And rugby, I'm getting like a huge amount of enjoyment. And then along the way, you end up picking up accolades in the AIL. And for those of you on here, like, if there'll be a lot of us here that would love to play professional rugby, but sometimes one way or another, the reality is some of the best rugby we'll ever play is representing the senior team at Clontarf, and I think that's a huge achievement. It's so competitive,
massive,
to make an AIL team.
This is the best fun as well. Like you really like it's almost the professional atmosphere, but obviously double the fun. Like professional rugby is great. I love professional rugby, and I'll keep playing professional rugby. But when you play AIL, like it's just, like you play rugby. It's hard to explain. Actually, I'm not doing this any justice.
No, I get it, because it's a bit like you're playing for the right reasons, and it's not a job. In one sense, you're doing it because you love it. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Like I still play rugby now professionally because I still play because I love it. And I love playing professional rugby. It's that next step up, really. But yeah.
No, that's good. And it is good to know, because I'm like, the reality is most of us won't play pro, but we'll play, a lot of us will get a shot at playing a few AIL games, and it is still such a great achievement to be able to do that. And it is, like you say, and I'll attest to it, it's some of the best times you'll ever have. Someone's asking here, what's your favorite tournament that you've competed in, Leinster or even age group tournament? There's a few different trips and stuff. Can you any that stick out to you?
Tournaments, the Under-20s World Cup was a memorable one. As much for
were you in France or?
We got Manchester.
Okay, yeah, that's sweet. Okay, cool. Not as.
Yeah, we had the historical win against the Baby Blacks.
Yeah, I remember.
I think it wasn't in a sense like the rugby was great and we had all the achievements getting to the final, but off the field as well, like I just really enjoyed the team environment. Like I know we were like away for a long time, but like we've no real responsibilities at home, so like you essentially put in however your number in the squad, a lot of kids into just like send them off on holidays for 4 weeks, and you get to play rugby at the same time. Like it's it's nerve wracking when you're playing the games, but then when like off the pitch, it's just as much fun. Like.
Yeah, no, that's class. That's awesome, mate. You've given us heaps of time there, and you've given us some great insights into what it's like to go through the club system, and then even just the mentality that it takes to crack it there, and it's been really helpful. Let's wrap up with like a last couple of questions there, Vakh, and again, we appreciate your time on this one. But just someone here asking, just one tip, if you could sum it up, one tip you'd give the audience here to succeed. What's the key for you? And I've heard a few undertones around hard work and enjoying yourself, but what's the one pearl of wisdom you could give?
Find that balance of hard work and enjoyment, because if you do make it feel like a job, it's not going to be as enjoyable. Like, you learn as you go along that like some of the best players play when they're fully relaxed. So you have to find that kind of sweet spot of enjoyment, and it's not like a one thing that you'll do and that'll like that's your pathway, and it's like a straight line to success or like straight line to professional rugby. It's never like, it never is a straight line. There's going to be constant like peaks and troughs, like, and you go but like the disappointments you do get, like use it to build up a mental resilience rather than just like have your moment and have your, okay, this is awful, and like your moan and whatever else, but you need to be able to forget about it and move on and use it to get you better. And that becomes the work ethic part. So yeah, I probably rambled on there a bit, but essentially have a pathway, but it's not going to be a straight line pathway. There's going to be obstacles in the way, and use the obstacles to build resilience and build work ethic, and that will essentially get you not better just at rugby, but at life.
Nice. It's a good one, mate. It's I liked it. It's I do like the analogy of that. It's not being a straight line, and there is, as you say, there's mountains and valleys, and it is a bit colourful, but you eventually get there. Vakh, mate, that's awesome. Great insight for our players, and definitely good to hear from someone in the front row to mix it up. It's usually the flashy guys that want to jump on and have a chat. So I appreciate your time.
They'd have better.
You're flash too, bro. You're flash as well. Nah, mate. All I heard when I asked you the favourite food was, I just like any food, big food with cheese in it.
That's why I'm a front row. That's how you become a front row. Sweet food.
I'm with you on that one. I probably should make a transition to the front row, maybe for the J3s. Appreciate it, man. Just as we wrap up, guys, thanks for jumping on and asking questions and taking the time to listen to some of Vakh's experiences. We are launching next week a training program called Match Fit March. We've got another special guest who's going to jump on. He's recently played a few Leinster caps and got his first start.
For a treat,
yellow card. You're in for a real treat. So he's going to jump on next week, but before he jumps on, we're going to have our S&C trainer come on and answer any questions about the program that we're about to launch next week. So thanks for jumping on. Vakh, do you want to say anything before we finish up, especially about next week's guest?
No hassle. Thanks for having me on. And next week's guest, probably same age as some of them, actually.
Mentally,
definitely. Probably younger as well.
Yeah. All good. Thanks, Vakh, man. I really, really appreciate you giving up your time tonight and giving us some of your wisdom. So good luck with the training, and we wish you all the best heading back into, we hope to see you back in that blue, the Leinster blue soon, please.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Cheers, Vakh. Thanks, guys.
All right.